Well, hello everybody and happy Sunday. This is Lisa Freeman from stampingwithlisa.com, and I decided not to do a live today because I wanted to make this, it was probably going to be a little bit of a long video, and I wanted to not make it any longer than it needed to be. So I just wanted to pop on and show you guys some basic things. If you are just getting started stamping, or even if you've been stamping for a while, I think you'll learn a lot from today's video. I've got some tips, tricks, some just good stuff to show you that you might not know. And I've kind of written down all of my favorite things about stamping for beginners, and what I wish I had known how to do when I first started, because when I first started stamping 22 years ago, I knew nothing. I mean, I didn't know how to put a stamp set together. I didn't know how to do anything, nothing. And I didn't know anything about ink, paper, nothing. I mean, I'm telling you, nothing. So after a few months of wasting money on things at Michael's and other places that really didn't match or go together, I finally reached out to my upline, and she showed me a bunch of key things. So I want to just, make your transition easier if you are just getting started, and help you with some of the things that I wish I had known. So let's get started. So my name is Lisa Freeman, and I have a website, stampingwithlisa.com, right here. So if you would like to purchase anything, you can always go there and buy whatever you like from Stampin' Up. And this is the host code for March 1st through 15th. And if you're watching this later than that, there's always a host code listed on my website. All right, so first thing I want to talk about is stamps, because with stamping, of course, you need stamps. That's the biggest thing, right? You got to start with stamps. So we have two kinds of stamps. One is photopolymer, and that's the clear ones. And they just come like this, clear in the box. You don't get any blocks anymore. When we first started stamping many years ago, we only had rubber stamps with wood blocks, and that was it. We didn't have these clear stamps, which I absolutely love, because you can see through them and it makes it so much easier. And if you're just getting started, you'll notice that actually all of the stamps have a picture in the box. So you can take this and you can take all of your stamps off and put them in your box, and they're very sticky. I should have practiced this. Oh, don't throw this away, because you can use that for something else. All right, so you take this off of here and put it in your box like so. And you don't have to trim them or anything. I mean, you could if you wanted to, but you don't have to. And all of the stamps match exactly to the picture that's in here. So you'll know exactly if something's missing. You can always know exactly which one it is and where to put it. I like to do this as soon as I get my stamp set, so that way everything's already in the box, ready to go. I don't have to do anything except pick it up, put it on a block, and get started stamping. So here we go. So we've taken one. These are the photopolymer stamps. So we've already taken one, put it in our box, so it's ready to go. So when you want to stamp it, all you have to do is get a block out, whatever size you need. We have all sorts of blocks, and I'm going to show you how to clean these too. I brought these dirty just to show you how to do this. So the blocks come in all different sizes, from tiny to super big. And I think there are, I'm not even positive, I think it's A through I. So I don't know how many that is, maybe like 10 or so different sizes. And it says in the back of the book what size they are. And I love ours because they are beveled. They're really soft. Some blocks you might see at the craft stores have sharp edges, and they're not easy to hold like this. This is beveled, so it's very easy to hold, and it's nice and smooth on the edges, so you don't like jab yourself with it. And so if you want to use a stamp, you just pick it up and find a block that fits that size stamp, and it just sticks like that. It's really sticky. These are super sticky. But after a while, if you're like me, sometimes I don't put my stamps back in the block, especially if it's one that I use all the time. And oh, other thing I love about this, it's totally clear. So when you go to stamp this, you can see through it to your paper, and you'll know exactly where you're going to put it, and it's really easy to see. So that's another reason I love these. You don't have to do anything except put it on the block. But what I was going to say is sometimes I don't clean my stamps right away, and they sit on the table and then they get a little dusty, and after a little bit of sitting like that, they don't stick anymore. So what happens is you get a stamp like this one, and I can rub it, I can stick it on here, and there's no stickiness to it. It's totally not sticky. It's not going to stick to anything. And that's the reason is because it's dirty. So one of my customers the other day asked me, how do you clean your stamp when it doesn't stick anymore? And it is so easy. It's not even funny. It's not sticking because it's dirty. So it's gotten like oil from your fingers or dust. If you look really closely, you can see there's like little pieces of fuzz on it and little pieces of dust. That's the reason it's not sticking. So what I did is I took another stamp that was exactly the same way. This was sitting on the table, just like that one, and it was totally not sticking, and it would slide all over this too. But now I cleaned it, so now it's sticking again. So all you have to do is take it to the sink, run it under hot water with a little bit of soap. Hand soap is fine, or dish soap, either one. Get your hands good and soapy, and just rub it until it comes clean, and voila, it will now be sticky again. So there you go. So that's how you clean your photopolymer stamps, so they will stick again. So that's one tip. Now, if you're using rubber stamps, that's our other kind of stamps that we sell. These you actually have to put together. So they come with a sheet of rubber like this that's already trimmed out for you, like so, and you get a sheet of stickers. So what I do is, not as soon as I get it, but as soon as I need to use it, I go ahead and put it together. And I like to do the whole stamp all at once, so whole stamp set. So I just peel off all these white pieces at the same time. And I leave it in the container. And a lot of people do this differently. I've seen probably at least 10 different ways to put your stamps together. And not many people do it the way that I do it, but I swear this is by far the easiest way. So I'm not sure why people don't do it the way that I do it, because I've tried other people's methods and it's not as easy. All right, so the sticker sheet, it's got all of your little creases, and you know, you can peel them off. There's always a line down the middle like that, and you peel off half of it. Now, a lot of people peel the whole thing at once, and they'll either take the stamp out and stick it down, or I don't know, they just do weird stuff. So what I do is I get it right in front of me, line it up, the piece that still has the paper on it, don't peel the whole thing off. Line that side up so nothing's touching this piece right here, the foam. Once you have this edge lined up, then go ahead and put the other side down. So now this side's sticky, this side's not. Peel off that paper and just lay it down. Now you've got your stamp perfectly positioned on there. So I'm going to show you a few more. We'll just do a couple, and it doesn't take but a minute. All right, so here's our little duck. So this one goes right here. So again, do the same thing. Line up the side that has the paper still on it. When you get that exactly perfect, put down the other side, and then just peel that one off. Perfect every time. So we'll just do a couple more, and they're so easy. Now this one goes right here. The only time you have to be careful is when you have words, because sometimes you can't tell if the words are which direction they go, because sometimes it'll be just a circle or something like that. But like, here's some words. This one is pretty easy to tell that it goes here, except that's upside down. Nope, actually, wait a minute. Oh, I got the sticker the wrong way. All right, so it goes this way. Whoops. No, it doesn't. All right, so it doesn't go there at all. Oh, yes, it does. I had it upside down. Okay, there we go. It goes this way. All right, so it goes this way. So that was a little tricky right there. So that's the way it goes. So I'm going to peel off my paper and just put it where it is. Still got the paper on it. Stick it down, and there you go. And then peel off the other side. So this way you don't accidentally touch your the piece the side that doesn't have the paper on it. If you accidentally touch that to this, it's never coming off. You're going to ruin your stamp. So you don't want to accidentally do that. So this way it's easier. Now this one goes this way. All right, so peel off that, stick it down, and boom, voila. All right, so you are good to go. So there we go. We've done almost all of them. I'm going to just go ahead and do the rest since we're almost done anyway. We've only got 3 left. So this is good practice for you guys. So, all right, this one right here, we've got the bumps going down. So stick it right down like that. We've got it all lined up. And there you go. My biggest pet peeve is when I go like to somebody else's house or have a friend over and they have mounted their stamps badly and the words are crooked, and you've done your whole card and then you're going to do the words and you ruin your card because their words, the sticker's on wrong and their words are super crooked. And then I just get so irritated because I'm like, well, dang, I just ruined my card. But I mean, there are ways to fix it. You never totally ruin a card usually, but it is one of my pet peeves. And I mean, I've got ladies that I've been stamping with for years that still can't mount their stamps straight. So if you use this method, then you should be able to get them all straight. And as long as you don't let this piece right here that's the paper's off of touch until you know it's straight, you are good. All right, the other thing that I like to do, and this is just a personal preference, but most people that I show it to agree, I like to trim my stamps because what happens is, so now all the stickers are on, and I like to put it in the stamp case like this, and sometimes I just peel off the rest of this part, and then it gets a little bit sticky, and it'll hold inside your case like this. So everything will be stuck down and hold it. So that way it won't fall out. Okay. All right. So see how this has this big piece of rubber all around it? So a lot of times the Stampin' Up! Stamps or any other brands you might get are not trimmed as close as I would like them to be. So this side right here is really close, but this side has a huge amount of rubber still left. So what happens is if you put it on your block and you go to stamp it, you're very likely to get ink all around this edge right here. And then you stamp it and you're going to have a big line around, which is a lot of beginners do that. And I'll show you a tip to avoid that in just a minute when I go to the ink pad part. So what we're going to do is trim this. So you want to just hold it straight. You don't want to go like sideways or this way or, you know, whatever way. Try to keep your scissors straight, because you don't want to cut, you want this edge to stay straight. You don't want to cut so that when you're cutting the rubber, there's no cushion underneath it, because that's another thing, the difference between the photopolymer. Let me get that back out and show you. See the difference between a photopolymer and a rubber stamp? The photopolymer has no cushion to it, no foam. It's just the stamp. So this one is the stamp plus the foam. So whenever you use the photopolymer, you need to have a cushion underneath it. So I like to use our paper piercing mat, and this one I've actually cut in half. So if you're going to stamp on top of something, you'll have this foam cushion underneath your stamping to give it some give, because it's not going to make as good of an image if you don't. So that's another tip. So if you have photopolymer stamps and you're not getting a really good image, that's why, because you don't have a cushion underneath. I like to have a big pad of paper here under mine. That also works. So those are just a couple tips for that. So keep going with this, and we're just going to go all around the bunny, and I'm going to trim it right up to the edge. And I like to use mostly just the front part of the scissors and just kind of cut in small little strokes. So now I've trimmed that bunny. So when I stamp it, it doesn't matter I've cut a little bit of his face off, because the stamp itself is perfect. And now you're not going to get those lines all around there. So just a tip for that. And it really is helpful when you have the words and stuff too. So let's do another little chick here. So see how she's got all of this extra rubber? Let's go ahead and trim that off. And remember, keep your scissors straight up and down. You don't want to tilt them because then you might cut off too much of the foam underneath, and then it won't have a cushion for the stamp. All right, so this does only take, you know, when you get the hang of this, it's only like a couple minutes to do a whole stamp set. All right, the other tip is you need really sharp scissors. And Stampin' Up! Does not sell these scissors anymore. These are our craft and rubber scissors. But I did put the link on my YouTube channel and on my website, stampingwithlisa.com, right here, where to get these on Amazon. They're only like, I want to say $12. And they are exactly the same ones that we used to sell. So they're super, super sharp. I've had this pair of scissors for 20 years. And they're still today as sharp as they used to be. So, okay, so that's it for trimming your stamps, putting the stickers on. Now let's go to the scissors. So we sell two kinds, well, just this kind of scissors now. These are our paper snips. These are my favorite scissors. They're super sharp, and this is what I trim almost every kind of piece of paper with. So if I'm trimming any fussy cutting or cutting anything, I always use these scissors. We used to have some other ones that were really big, like sewing scissors, and those were our ribbon scissors. We don't sell those anymore, and we don't sell these either. But I want to tell you how to clean your stamps, your scissors. So there's a couple different ways. Well, actually, there's probably more than a couple different ways. These don't really get gummy too much unless you are cutting something that's already got some glue or something on it. But you can use this gum eraser or adhesive remover. We used to sell this. We don't anymore, but you can get it at the Dollar Tree. So it's $1 or $1.25 now. I think the prices all went up to $1.25. So I found these at the Dollar Tree. This is like an invaluable tool for cleaning your scissors. So it just takes the gumminess right off and makes them brand new again. It will work on these scissors too. This one has a lot of sticky stuff on it, but it takes a little bit more effort. And I found an easier way to clean these scissors is with either Goo Gone or hand sanitizer or alcohol. You can use any of those. They all work about the same. So if you just put a little bit of hand sanitizer or alcohol or the Goo Gone, rub it on there, it will just totally get rid of all that stickiness. And see how they come really clean right there? I need a little bit more. Whoops. There we go. But you just have to be careful you don't cut yourself. But see how clean they're coming? And it just totally gets rid of that goo right there. So these need to be cleaned totally. But I'll do that another time. But that's how you get goo off your, really anything. That's also how I clean my blocks. So this block I left dirty just so I could show you that. So see, I've gotten all these little sticky things on there. That's from, I don't know, either like I had something sticky on my finger or somehow I got tape or something or glue on it. So put a little blob of hand sanitizer on there or alcohol, either one, or Goo Gone, and just give it a good rub and it will clean that block just like new. I've heard people say the magic eraser works, but I think that ruins it because that leaves a, it's almost like a sanding block or something. It leaves a, I don't know, I think it just makes it so it's not clear anymore. So that takes off a lot of your goo. So we'll put some on the other side. Probably should have brought another paper towel because this one's getting pretty icky. All right, and if the alcohol doesn't work, Goo Gone or just straight alcohol works great too. But I always have hand sanitizer on my table, so it's just easy to grab and clean with. So that makes a big difference. I probably need a little bit more, but all right. Anyway, that's how you clean your blocks. And our blocks come in all different sizes. And you can see all mine are dirty. I need to clean them all. And it tells you the size right on the side. So this one is like a C block. This is a B block. But all the sizes are listed on there. And they're all in the back of the catalog. If you're a beginner stamper and you're just starting out, you might want to think about getting several of them because you like to have different sizes to match your stamps. If you are a hostess and you have a half price item, a great way to get them is use this as your half price item, because I think it's normally about $70 to get all the blocks. So if you have a half price item available, you can get them for half price, which would be like $35. So I've done that several times because I need at least, 4 or 5 sets when I'm doing a lot of classes. Let's see, what else? How to cut paper in the paper. Oh, I know another thing I want to show you. How to clean your stamps. Okay, so this is our Stampin' Chamois, or Simply Chamois. I don't know. I can't remember the name of it. Simply Chamois. I think it's Simply Chamois. But this thing comes totally dry and like hard. Not really hard, but like a sponge. So all you have to do is wet it and then wring it out so it's just damp. You don't want it like sopping wet. So if you have a dirty stamp, all you have to do is just rub it on here and that will clean it. So there's where it was inky. So now it's totally clean. You can put it back in your box. I recommend you don't ever put your stamps back in the box dirty, because what happens is next time you go to use it, if it's still got ink on it and you stick it in another ink pad, it will get in your other ink pad and mess up whatever you're doing. So always clean your stamps good. That way they'll stay good and ready to go. Another tip, I would not use baby wipes to clean your stamps or paper towels, because it might leave lint or some other film on them. A lot of baby wipes have, lotion or aloe or other things in there that you don't want on your stamp. Just plain old water. This thing just uses water and that's it, and that just really does a good job. We also have a Stampin' Scrub. I used to use that a long time ago before we had this, but this is by far my favorite stamp cleaner that we have. So that's that. And let's see, what else? Oh, ink pads. All right, so we've talked about scissors. We've talked about, and glue, adhesives. So let's talk about that. And we've talked about scissors. All right, so adhesives. We have lots of adhesives. We have the regular green glue. We have Stampin' Seal. I pretty much use this green glue almost exclusively. The only time that I don't, occasionally I'll use this one, which is our old adhesive. It was called Snail. We don't sell it anymore, but when they got rid of it and discontinued it, I stocked up on it and bought like a couple hundred of them. So I will have Snail for probably 10 years from now. But the Stampin' Seal is the new one, and I'm not as fond of it as I am the old one that we had, so I don't ever use that one. But I do pretty much use this one most of the time. It's just my favorite one. It's very sticky. I mean, it's like kind of like Elmer's glue almost consistency, and it has a thin tip and a fat tip. And I know a lot of people didn't know that, because I did a video not too long ago and I showed that, and I couldn't believe how many people never knew that this has a fat tip and a thin tip. So it does have 2 tips, whether you're doing something thin or if you want a whole piece of paper, you can use either tip. Oops, that one goes on the other end. And they both work fine. I don't use this fat tip too much because I like to have a thin application of it. So that's my tip for glue. We also have glue dots, which is what I use for embellishments, like let's see, like the little bumblebee trinkets, or ribbon if I'm doing a bow and I want to put a bow on here. I don't have any sitting here, but they work great for that. I always put whatever I'm gluing down to the glue dot instead of trying to pick it up with my finger and put it on something. But I love glue dots. I keep a ribbon around it so that it doesn't unravel, because here's one that's not got anything on it, and it will, just kind of unravel if you don't have something holding it down. So that's another little tip there, to keep a little bit of ribbon around it so it doesn't just unravel everywhere. This is our tear tape, and all you have to do is find the end of it, and it just rips right so easily. You don't need scissors or anything with it. And this is great for when you're doing like 3D projects like boxes or bags or anything that you want to be held really, really tightly. Or it's also good if you have ribbon on the back of something and you want to tape it down, you can just take a little piece of this and hold your ribbon down on the back of your card. So that's a good tip for the tear tape. And then let's talk about, oh, and dimensionals. So dimensionals I use on almost everything. These are just like, some people call them pop-ups or pop dots, but they are just little foam pieces that are sticky on both sides, and they will raise up your project. I use them under words a lot, or under flowers or different things, to pop them up off the page. So I go through these probably like, you know, a million a week. I can't even tell you how many I go through. It's so many. So that's the dimensionals. All right, so let's go into ink pads. All right, here's a brand new ink pad. So when you get an ink pad right at the beginning, it'll come like this, except it's wrapped up in cellophane, which I already took off. There's nothing, no label or anything on it. So you have to do that yourself. And it comes with these labels on the back. One's in English, one is in, I think, German, and one is in, I want to say French. And then that one I think was Japanese, but we actually, I don't think have Japanese anymore. So they might not be on this. I've had this one a little while. So now they don't come, I don't think they come with Japanese anymore. But what I do is I take this part off. So it just leaves the, so that, take that off. And then you've got just the stickers left. So I take the crumb cake one, peel it off, and you're gonna put that on the end of your stamp case, the side that opens. And this is the side that opens that's got that little lip to it. And just put that on the end. So then when it's stacked up on your shelf and they sit like this, and you can see which one that is. Another tip is have one on the inside of your stamp case. So the one that doesn't have words on it, that's just the plain color, you can put on the inside of your case, so that way you know what color it is, whether when it's open, because sometimes when it's opened you can't really tell, and this will tell you what color it is. And I need some tweezers or something to stick that in. Should have done that from the beginning, but okay, mine's a little crooked. Next time use tweezers and it'll make it easier. All right, another thing that people always say they have a hard time with is opening these ink pads. I think they're super easy to open. You just have a lip. It's exactly like a compact. If you're putting blush or foundation or something like that on, it opens exactly the same. You just grab that little lip and you just take your thumb and open it. And it's so easy. And then you just push it. Oops, I just put my finger right in it. This is a brand new one. Sometimes when they're brand new, they're a little stiff, but after you work it a few times, it slides easier. All right, so after you work it, it will go easier back and forth. You can also take a little crayon and rub it on here, which will make it slide easier. There's also, and this locks it when you press it all the way. And then to unlock it and close it, you pull this and snap it. I've also seen people open it like this. So you put your thumbs up at the very top. So here's the top of the ink pad, and you just press it, and that pops it open that way. And again, close, you know, you put it like that. Either way is easy. To me, I never thought these were hard to open, but some people, you know, I mean, that's like super easy way to do it, and it just unlocks it and slide. So that's how you open your pads and put them together. And then if you want, you can just throw those away. You don't really need the rest of those, but I don't know. You can just leave them if you want to. So that's ink pads. So let me see, what else do we have? Oh, paper cutter and how to cut paper. All right, so I think Stampin' Up! Has one of the best paper cutters out there. I love this paper cutter. They've come out with several different ones. This is probably my favorite one we've ever had. I always use mine upside down from most people because I like my thing on the right-hand side because I'm right-handed. If I have it the other way, I feel like I'm doing it backwards. So I've never understood why everybody else does it the other way, because I think this is the right way, but I'm going to show you how to cut a piece of paper. So, oh, and I meant to show you something else about the ink pads. So when you put your paper in here, it's got your measurements along the bottom, and then also it's got a ruler that comes out, an extension arm that comes out, and it goes all the way to 17 inches, which I know you can't see that right now because it's off the screen, but it goes all the way to 17 inches. So it's really long. If I've never seen paper bigger than 12 inches, so I'm not sure why it has that long of an extension, but normally I only cut mine at 5.5, which is right here between 5 and 6. And this does come with 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, 1/8 of an inch. And so that's 1/2, 1/4, 1/8, and it's even got 16ths on there. So if you want to get really, really technical, you could do that. But I just line it up. So line it up with the 5.5 mark, and you can either pull it towards you or pull it away from you or towards you. It doesn't matter, but just make sure you're holding it, or hold the arm down, and then the paper definitely won't move. Ours comes with 2 different things on there, attachments. The dark one is for cutting, the light one is for scoring. So let's say you've cut your paper in half to make a card, and you want to score it. So half of this way, half of 8.5 is 4.25. So I want to score it right there. And now you've got your paper scored, so you can fold it in half. So there you go. So that's how to cut and score your paper. And then these blades are easy to take out. You can just go down to, where do you go? Now I forgot. Hold on. I forgot. Oh, I know. You just pull this apart a little bit and it will come out. There you go. So they come out like that. So just the old one we used to have, you had to go up to the top, and there was a little where it was wider. This one you can just take out almost anywhere. Just pull it apart like that. And it's got the little cutting blade. And then it just pops back in. All right, so that's the cutter. And then the other thing I want to show you is our ink colors. Oh, other thing. Wait a minute, one more thing. Hold on. So we've also got this, which is a bone folder. So if another way of scoring it, if you don't have the paper cutter, which everybody needs a paper cutter, you can just use this bone folder, and that will give you a perfect crease also. Or sometimes people use a Pampered Chef scraper. That works too. But that'll give you a perfect score every time. Mine is like 100 years old. It's been through the ringer. But that's another way to score. And then I wanted to show you a great thing about Stampin' Up! Is our paper colors. So when I first started stamping, I went to Michael's thinking, well, I'll get my paper at Michael's because it's cheaper there. Well, the paper might be cheaper, but it's also cheaper quality. Stampin' Up! Has excellent quality of products, especially their paper. Our paper is so awesome. And it comes in 50 colors. So you've got 10 bright colors, 10 neutrals, 10 regals, 10 subtles, and then we always have these extra ones every year, which are called in colors. And there's 5 from this year and 5 from last year. So 50 different colors that you can pick from. And in every color, there's the cardstock, the ink pad, the ink refill, and the Stampin' Blends. And we also have markers that match. So if you're using, let's say, Blushing Bride, you can have Blushing Bride paper, Blushing Bride ink pad, Blushing Bride refill. The Stampin' Blends don't come in that color. They come in most of the colors, but not that one in particular. And the markers come in all the colors. So everything that you make will match perfectly. So like, let's see, here's a card I made yesterday. So see how, well, this I stamped in Blackberry Bliss, but I actually used the Wink of Stella to color it, so it lightened it up a little bit. But this right here is Blackberry Bliss ink. This is Blackberry Bliss paper or cardstock, and you can tell they're exactly the same color. And if I had the marker, it'd be the exact same color. And I also used a Stampin' Blends to color these. I used a different color though, but to color our pearls, and they came out really cool. And oh, I forgot to talk about another thing too. Don't let me forget about this. This is our Take Your Pick tool, which is a must, I think. So the greatest thing about our colors is you can get everything to match. So if you went to Michael's, you might be saving $1 or $2 on the ink pad and the paper, but they're not going to match. You can get a blue piece of cardstock and a blue ink pad, but you might have paper that's like this color blue and your ink pad is this color blue, and they're totally different colors. They're both blue, but they're not going to go together, and they're going to make your card look really, really crummy. And I didn't discover that until after I bought all that stuff. And then as soon as my demonstrator showed me how everything coordinated, and it looked so much better, because I was like, my cards never come out looking like yours. And she said, well, you're not using all Stampin' Up stuff, and that makes a huge difference. And our cardstock is so thick. It's, I want to say 110 pound is the weight of it. And then the white is 80 pound, I think. So our Whisper White or Basic White, I'm pretty sure it's 80 and this is 110, but I'm not positive. But it's way thicker than what you might get at a craft store. Because I know the one that I got, like at Michael's, it felt more like construction paper instead of cardstock. So just a tip with that. And I love having all of the things that match. It just makes such a big difference. And that's the only thing I wanted to say about that. Also, our designer paper, which I will show you in a second. We have so many products that are so awesome. We do have other kinds of ink pads too, which I'll do another video about just ink pads. I just wanted to kind of cover the basics today. So we have designer papers that come in all different patterns, and it will tell you right on the paper, the page, and on the back of the paper, what colors go with this paper. So like for this pack of paper, it uses Evening Evergreen, Gold, Just Jade, Magenta Madness, Mint Macaron, Pale Papaya, Pear Pizzazz, Polished Pink, and Shaded Spruce. So if you buy this pack of paper, you know right away you're going to need some of these colors to go with it. So it makes it really easy to color coordinate everything so that it comes out really, really nice looking. So I'll show you just a couple examples. Like that one I showed you, that was the Blackberry Bliss, and how it matched the paper and everything. Let me just grab a few more that I've got sitting here. So like this one, this is Bumblebee paper. That's Bumblebee ink. And then I don't really have anything else that is the same color on there. This one, let's see. I don't think in this one I did either. I'm not picking very good choices, am I? All right, for this one, like this ink right here, this is Pacific Point. That's Pacific Point cardstock, and that's Pacific Point shimmer paper. So I think you can see in that how it color coordinates really well. So I just wanted to show that to you in case you're thinking about wasting a lot of money at craft stores just because you might save a buck or two. Oh, I forgot about our ribbon too. So our ribbon is the same way. So we have ribbon that matches our colors. So that one that I just showed you, I'm pretty sure that is Blushing Bride too. So back on this page where I had that Blushing Bride. So we have the ribbon that goes with that too. Oh no, this is Petal Pink, sorry. This is Petal Pink. So our ribbon matches our colors also. So we have lots of different colors of ribbon, and it matches all of our ink colors and paper colors and everything. So everything will come out so awesome looking. So I think I've covered everything for today that I was going to cover. I just wanted to show you like what you need to get started and how to use your ink pads, your stamps, how to put your stamps together, how to clean them, and all that stuff. I'm going to do like different videos, hopefully maybe once a week or so, on different topics. So I'm going to do one on just using the Stamparatus, one on, which is another thing that you probably will need if you're just starting out, and one on our Stampin' Blends, one on, let me see what else. I can't think off the top of my head right now, but different videos. So this will be like Stamping 101 videos. So for today, it's Stamping 101, how to do everything for a beginner stamper. So I hope that you learned something from this video, even if you're not a beginner stamper. Maybe you picked up a couple tips. Thanks for joining me. I know I didn't do this live today, so I didn't have all the chit chat, but I wanted to hurry up and just get through it. So I didn't want to make it too long, and I had a feeling if I did it live, it was going to be a lot of questions and stuff, and it was going to take a lot longer. So thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Like, share, subscribe if you enjoy this video. And don't forget, if you want to buy anything, you can always go to my website, stampingwithlisa.com. Have an awesome rest of your day, and I will catch you soon. Bye-bye.